Every single Minions movie has one thing in common. Gru. He's in Despicable Me. He's in Minions, The Rise of Gru. He's even mentioned in the original Minions movie, set in the 1960s. But Minions and Monsters, Gru is completely, totally gone. No mention, no cameo, not even a single reference. And nobody is talking about why. Now, let's talk about the biggest mystery in the Minions and Monsters trailers, and why the answer might be darker than Illumination wants you to realize. First, let's establish what we actually know about this movie. Minions and Monsters is set in 1920s Hollywood. The Minions, Kevin, Stuart, Bob, and the crew arrive in Tinseltown looking for their next big adventure. But instead of finding movie stardom, they stumble into a world overrun by classic Hollywood monsters. We're talking Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, the whole Universal Monsters lineup. It's basically the Minions crashing a horror movie set. Now here's the thing. The Rise of Gru was set in the 1970s. Despicable Me one is set in the present day, roughly 2010. So this movie set in the 1920s is actually the earliest point in the entire Despicable Me timeline we've ever seen. Which means, Gru hasn't been born yet. Simple answer, right? Case closed? Not so fast. Here's why that explanation doesn't fully work and why it actually creates more questions than it answers. The original Minions movie, released in 2015, shows us the Minions throughout all of history. We see them with T-Rexes. We see them serving Egyptian pharaohs. We see Napoleon Bonaparte, Dracula, and eventually a young Gru in the 1960s. So Illumination already established the Minions story before Gru was born. They did it in 2015, and what happened? The movie almost broke the franchise. Reviews were mixed. Critics said the Minions felt empty without Gru as an anchor. Audiences wanted heart, and without Gru, the Minions were just chaos in overalls. Illumination heard that feedback. They course-corrected with Rise of Gru by bringing young Gru back immediately. So the question isn't just where is Gru in Minions and Monsters? The real question is, why is Illumination willing to go back to a Gru-less story? What do they know this time that they didn't know in 2015? And I think the trailers are actually hiding the answer in plain sight. Here's my theory, and I want you to follow this closely because it connects every single Minions movie together in a way nobody has spelled out yet. The Minions are searching. Not for fun, not for adventure, for a master. Think about everything we know about Minion biology and behavior from the lore. They are genetically or evolutionarily driven to serve the most despicable, most powerful villain they can find. It's not a choice, it's instinct. It's literally what they are. In the original Minions movie, after centuries of accidentally destroying every master they served, they go into isolation in Antarctica depressed, purposeless, slowly dying because without a master, they have no reason to exist. Kevin leads a mission to find a new master. They find Scarlet Overkill. It goes badly. And then at the very end, a young Gru steps forward. And the Minions immediately know this is the one. Now fast forward to Minions and Monsters, set decades before any of this. The Minions are in 1920s Hollywood, surrounded by monsters, literal classic monsters, creatures of evil, creatures of darkness, creatures who terrify the world. From a Minions perspective, that's a job fair. My theory, the Minions aren't there by accident. They went to Hollywood because they heard about the monsters, and they're auditioning new masters. Every monster they encounter in this movie is a potential Gru, a potential boss, someone despicable enough to follow. And here's where it gets dark. If this theory is right and the trailers strongly hint at it, then every chaotic, comedic scene in Minions and Monsters has a tragic undercurrent. These little yellow guys are desperately trying to fill a void that won't be filled for another 50 years, when a small, lonely boy named Gru puts on a scarf and picks up a freeze ray. The comedy is the surface. The loneliness is what's underneath. And when you look at the trailers through this lens, specific moments start to hit differently. Moment 1. The Minions arrive in Hollywood looking wide-eyed and amazed. Every reaction channel called this cute. But look closer, they're not tourists, they're scouts. They're assessing every powerful figure they see. Moment 2. There's a scene where the Minions seem to be actively helping one of the monsters. Not because they're forced to, but because they're choosing to. Classic minion behavior when they found someone they want to impress. Moment 3. The final trailer shot the minions look at each other after something goes wrong, and there's this beat, this pause. It's played for laughs. But that expression? That's the same expression they had in Antarctica. That's the "we're lost without a purpose" face. Illumination is too good at visual storytelling for these to be accidents. And then there's this. In the final trailer, there's a quick shot of Hollywood in complete chaos. The monsters are taking over, and the minions are in the middle of it, not running away from the chaos, running toward it. Because chaos is where villains live, and villains are where minions belong. So where does this leave us? If my theory is right, Minions and Monsters isn't just a fun spin-off set in old Hollywood. It's actually the missing chapter of the Minions story, the bridge between the chaos of the early 20th century and the moment they finally find Gru in the 60s. It's the movie that shows us just how long these creatures searched, how many masters they tried, how many times they failed. And suddenly Gru isn't just a character anymore. He's the answer to a 50-year question. Now, will the movie actually go this deep? Maybe not. It's still a Minions film. There will be banana jokes. There will be slapstick. There will be moments designed to make 6-year-olds lose their minds with laughter. But the best Illumination movies, the really good ones, like the original Despicable Me, always have an emotional core underneath the chaos. A reason to care. And I think Minions and Monsters has found its emotional core. It's not about Hollywood. It's not about monsters. It's about what it feels like to be looking for the one person who makes your existence make sense. And not finding them yet. Minions and Monsters hits theaters July 1st, which means we'll find out very soon if this theory holds up.